Welcome back. Today I will be going over a few problems from this homework sheet involving right triangle trigonometry. The first problem asks, to solve for x in the diagram, round your answer to the nearest tenth. First, I like to redraw the triangle because it's hard to read when it's sideways. I will relabel all of the parts. The top angle is 29 degrees, the missing side is the hypotenuse, and the bottom side is 9. Next, I like to write out SOH CAH TOA, and I like to label each side of the triangle so I can figure out whether I'm working with sine, cosine, or tangent for this particular problem. The 9 side of the triangle is the opposite side from the angle. The x is the hypotenuse, which is the side right across from the right angle, and by process of elimination, the last side is the adjacent side. Now we know we need to use the opposite side in the hypotenuse, and we don't need the adjacent side. This tells us that we don't need to use cosine or tangent because they both involve a, which is the adjacent side. And now we know we're using sine. Now we can set up the formula of sine, which is sine of the angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. So the angle we're working with is 29, equals the opposite, which is 9, over the hypotenuse, which is x. Now we need to isolate x and solve for it. To isolate x, we multiply x by both sides. On the right side of the equation, the x's divide out to 1. So now we're left with x times sine of 29 equals 9. Now we need to get x by itself, so we can divide both sides by sine of 29. On the left side of the equations, the sines of 29 divide out to 1. Now we have isolated x, and to solve for this, we need to use a calculator. We need to make sure the calculator is in degree mode because we are using sine of an angle. Now just type in 9 divided by sine of 29, and our answer is 18.6. Now coming back to the original problem, you can look at the answer choices and see that 18.6 is the second answer listed. So the next problem is a little different. The problem reads, rounding to the nearest tenth, which of the following values represent the correct value for x in this problem? So first I'm going to redraw the triangle because it's better to read it sitting up than sideways. The bottom of the triangle measures 8, the side measures 11, and the top angle is what we're trying to find. This time we're looking for the angle instead of the side. So again, I'm going to write out SOH CAH TOA so I can figure out if I'm working with sine, cosine, or tangent for this problem. Now I'm going to label the side. The side measured 8 is the opposite side. The side across from the right angle is always the hypotenuse, and by process of elimination, the last side is the adjacent side. We know we need to use 8 and 11, and the hypotenuse doesn't matter in this problem, so that eliminates sine and cosine, which both contain hypotenuse in their formula, and that leaves us with tangent. Now we need to write out the tangent formula. Tan of the angle, which we are looking for, equaling opposite over adjacent, which is 8 over 11. So we need to get x by itself, and to do this, we need to take the inverse of tan, which is arctan. Arctan and tangent are the inverses of each other, so they will cancel each other out. We need to apply arctan to both sides of the equal sign. Now on the left side we're just left with x, and on the right side we're left with arctan of 8 over 11, which can be directly put into Desmos to find the numerical answer. We need to make sure Desmos is in degree mode, and then just put it right into the calculator, and our answer is 36.0 degrees. Now going back to the problem, we can see that 36.0 degrees is the second choice out of the 4. For the last problem, we aren't given the triangle and we will have to draw it ourselves. The problem reads, Jaden is on his boat riding through the Cooper River. He spots the Cooper River Bridge at an angle of elevation of 42. If the bridge stands 761 feet above Jaden's viewing point on the boat, what is the horizontal distance from Jaden to the bridge? Now I'm just going to draw a triangle and try and label the sides of the triangle that are given. We know to label the right angle. Now we know that he spots the bridge at an angle of elevation of 42. And we know that the bridge is 761 feet high. Now we are looking for the horizontal distance. So the bottom side of the triangle is labeled X because that is what we are trying to find. Now we can write out SOH CAH TOA to figure out if we need sine, cosine, or tangent for this problem. Then our next step is to label the sides of the triangle corresponding to the angle. So the side opposite is 761, the side across from the right angle is the hypotenuse, and the last side is the adjacent side. We don't need anything with the hypotenuse, so we know we're not going to use sine or cosine, and we're using tangent again. So the tangent formula is tan of our angle, we know the angle this time, 42, equaling opposite over adjacent. The opposite side equals 761, and the adjacent side is what we are trying to find, which is x. So we need to isolate x. The first thing we are going to do is multiply x by both sides. On the right side, the x's will divide out to 1, so we're just left with 761 on the right side. On the left side, we still need to isolate x, so we're going to divide both sides by tangent of 42. And now we're left with x equaling 761 over tangent of 42. That can be directly put into your calculator to get the equivalent answer. We need to make sure it's in degree mode. Okay. Now we can simply just type in 761 divided by tangent of 42. That gives us 845.2. Going back to the problem, 845.2 is one of the answer choices. It's the second one, and now we have finished. Thanks for watching, and if you have a math topic that you would like me to make a video about, then leave a comment down below.